What up, world? Welcome to an episode of the BrandonJaneauShow. Well, it's actually Bleed Black and Gold, but I am the host of Bleed Black and Gold, Brandon Janu, and like always on all podcast platforms everywhere. BrandonJaneauShow, social media platforms, Instagram threads, Brandon Janu, um, TikTok, BrandonJaneauShow, uh, and of course Facebook, the BrandonJaneauShow. Um, And of course, really where you could just go is YouTube channel. YouTube channel, Brandon Janu Show. Subscribe, comment. I do comment back. If you actually like and comment, algorithm goes up for me. So appreciate it. So let's get into it, man. Hope you guys are having a great start to your 2025. It's only been what is it, the fourth day? Fifth day in 2025? Damn, 5 days in of 2025. Lord Jesus. Um, already feels like a long ass year. Uh, so let's get into it. So the Saints season is over. It is over today. Like I said, it's bleed black and gold. The Saints season is officially over. They finish what 15, 5 and I want to say, oh my God, I said 15, 5-12. That is the Saints finish final season record, 5-12. Losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today, which Tampa Bay has officially clinched the NFC South. They will be in the playoffs. Now they're just waiting to see from the Rams game if they're going to be the fourth seed or the third seed, if they're going to be playing against Washington or the loser of the Detroit Lions Vikings game tonight, which I'm looking super forward to. But the Saints lost today, 27-19. We're up at one point by 10 points. That was a microcosm of the Saints. I mean, let's be real. It was a microcosm of the Saints season for most of the year. Um, Second half, we just don't do shit. In the second fucking half, we have a great first half. We do amazing, and then the second half comes, and then we just shit the bed. I don't know what it is, man, but this is what it's been, man. And now everything that is going on with the Saints is now centered around what the all season is. Right now, depending on how everything is shaping up, right now we have the ninth pick in the draft. Um, of course, we got games going on right now, teams in front of us that could win, like the Raiders. Raiders are playing the Chargers right now. Last time I checked, they were leading the game. It was like, I think 10-6, I think it was. So if the Raiders win, who beat us just last week, we move into the 8th position. And then, of course, you have who else? Who else can we can somehow some way fall behind? I think the Jets. I think the Jets can. If the Jets win, the Jets beat the Dolphins. I think we jump the Jets, so the Jets will fall back and we go for it in the draft order. Of course, Chicago won today, which means they've moved to the 10th selection. Um, so we still have a chance to really move up the ladder. We don't. I don't think we go past. I don't think we have a chance to get in the top five because the top five is just we ain't getting no top five. Even with I think Carolina winning today, but I think Carolina has got 4 wins. I think, if I'm not mistaken, 4 wins. So we can't jump Carolina. I think they got 4 wins, if I'm not mistaken. So the Jags. So right now the positioning is Tennessee's one. That's with a bullet. Tennessee's the number one team. Number two, I think is the number two is Cleveland. I'm not mistaken. Cleveland, then the Giants, then the Patriots. Fifth is fuck. Who is fifth? I gotta look at the schedule, the draft order again. But we have a chance to fall into at least the top six before the end of before the end of the night. But of course, the Jets playing right now against the Dolphins, and of course, um, Jets and the Dolphins playing. You got Raiders and Chargers playing right now. Um, who else playing? That we can get better positioning. Uh, 49ers and Cardinals are not. They don't have anything to do with us because the 49ers have way more wins than we do. Cardinals too. So yeah, but in Seattle and Rams are the same. Like same. So we don't. So outside of the Raiders and the Jets, there's not really anything that can help us in the draft situationing outside of those two. So we shall see. Um, so I'm rooting for the Raiders and the Jets to win today because I need them to win those games and get us the fuck up there in the draft situation. Um, but the Saints are at the ninth spot right now of the draft situation, draft order, which means we'd be picking in the top 10. And me and my brother Juan, we did our show yesterday, our pick'em show. We about to get ready for the draft show that we about to start doing, mock draft shows that we about to start doing. Um, yeah, so we're getting ready for my draft shows we're about to start doing. And it was because me and my brother Juan did that show last week. We did a live show of us watching the Saints and the Raiders because they played last week. He's a Raiders fan. I'm a Saints fan, so we got a chance to watch the game together, do it live. And he saw what I was always talking about, which is the offense of the Saints just isn't fucking good. After a while, they they are a script team. Clint Kubiak does not know how to coach after the script, just like the 49ers. If you put the 49ers in a situation, they're not really fucking good. And the Jets right now are beating the Dolphins 15-6. I think the Dolphins are realizing like they're not going to the playoffs because Denver is beating the shit out the Chargers. Out the Kansas City Chiefs. So Denver's pretty much locked in as the seventh seed. So the Jets are beating the Dolphins. So yeah, I think we'll be behind. I think the Jets will be if I think the Jets will take the ninth position because they're 4-12 and we're 5-12. So if they win, they'd be 5-12. I think the Jets will take the ninth position. We take the eighth position. So and then of course the Raiders playing right now. If the Raiders win, we jump into the seventh position. So yeah, I'm looking for. We need a lot of shit to break our way. What I'm trying to say. Um, but but my brother when I watched it, we was watching the game last week, and he saw the same thing I've been saying for freaking weeks, which is the Saints aren't good in the second half. Offensively, we're off. We are a scripted team, and we cannot play off the script. Now, one thing I will say about this game that I loved about this game was we got a chance to see Spencer Rattler actually. This was the first time I think I saw Spencer Rattler actually just play the football game and did not have to go off of a script. It felt like he was more comfortable. It felt like he really knew what he had to do. It felt comfortable for him. Now, that's one out of games upon games that this kid has played. I mean, he's had the most games of a rookie quarterback since Archie Manning for the Saints. But this is the thing about the Saints that I'm starting to realize, and this is why I kept saying for months and months and months that the Saints aren't good. And no matter how you fire the head coach and you try to do something extra shit, you're not fixing this team. The Saints are now looking into this offseason, and now with the Patriots firing Gerard Mayo, that's another team looking for a head coach, and I think Mike Vrabel will end up as the new head coach of the New England Patriots. But the Saints situation, um, the defensively, we didn't play bad today. It wasn't it wasn't bad. Like again, like I said, we had a bunch of opportunities to truly go out there and dominate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers if we really wanted to, and we just kept shit in the bed when we got into the red zone. We could not score touchdowns. We kept kicking field goals. And when you put yourself in a situation against a team like Tampa Bay, who isn't particularly depending on um, the defense too much, but they can score and they can get down the field and they can score. They can put points on the board. And when our defense is struggling, our offense is struggling to put points on the board, Clint Kubiak, you put yourself in a situation where it's only a matter of time before the dam breaks. And that's exactly what the fuck happened. Like I said, our defense isn't bad. They didn't play bad today. But when your offense is scoring 19 fucking points and only scored what what two touchdowns, that's it. You only scored 2 touchdowns the whole game. It's a problem. It's a fucking problem. You scored 19 points. You were up 10. And this is what they do. The same. Clint Kubiak starts to coach conservative. He starts to coach really conservative. Very, very like, I just don't want to fuck it up. Let's just keep it very simple. Let's not do anything stupid. And instead of you just going for the fucking jugular, you fuck up the whole game because you trying not to fuck up the simple. And that's what happens with this team, man. Every time, every game I've seen the Saints play this whole fucking year. This is exactly what the fuck happens. We are up in games and then we just start getting real conservative with the play calling. And you can't fucking do that. Now, second half also time of possession was all Tampa. Granted, Tampa just really killed us in time of possession. But again, when you have an offense that is not moving the football in the second half because you're scripted to these plays, there's only so much you can physically fucking do. Like I said, the biggest takeaway from this game was Spencer Rattler. That's it. Now, in 20, here's the thing: the Saints do not need to draft a quarterback in 2025 draft. We don't need to draft one. If there's no good one, I've said this numerous times. After Cam Ward, there's literally no quarterback that I'm even remotely comfortable with outside of maybe Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. And even in that sense, I'm not taking a first round pick on him. I would go second, maybe even third. Maybe where Spencer Rattler was drafted, I would take the chance. But outside of that, I'm not taking a chance on that. So there's a conversation that needs to be had. If Spencer Rattler's in a situation next year with Derek Carr, do you go back to Derek Carr? Now I get it, you're paying Derek Carr a lot of money, but does he fucking give you the best chance to at least be competitive next year? And I don't think he does. Especially if you're bringing in a whole new regime, which clearly you're doing. Which brings me to the coaching situation, which brings me to really Mickey Loomis. If these reports are true, that Mickey Loomis is going out here and he's pretty much going to be stuck in his ways and he just wants his guy and he wants kind of coaching decisions. He wants to make the coaching staff, his coaching staff, and everything. We're gonna be fucked for at least 3 years. We're gonna be so backwards that it's going to be a problem. And he's the man with the power. He cannot be told no. So it's a very problematic situation when when I'm hearing that these coaching decisions that he's trying to make. I mean, this man is going to talk to fucking Matt Nagy. I'm sorry, bro. Like I've seen Matt Nagy coach when he had the Chicago Bears. He had a great defense and his offense was fucking terrible. We can sit there and say, well, he had Mitchell Trubisky as the quarterback. I don't give a fuck if he had Justin Fields as the fucking quarterback. His offense sucked. He is not. He's not getting bringing Patrick Mahomes with him. He's not bringing Patrick Mahomes. So this offense is not going to be the fucking Kansas City offense. You're not going to have Patrick Mahomes. Now Spencer Rattler may have some times where he may look like it, but he's not Patrick fucking Mahomes, man. And that's the thing. You're gonna put yourself in a situation where the offense is just not fucking good. Matt Nagy is not a guy that's gonna fix the offense, and that's the fucking problem. So no, I do not think Matt Nagy needs to be the next head coach in charge of the New Orleans fucking Saints. Same thing with Anthony Glenn, Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn's cool, but if I was Aaron Glenn and I was Ben Johnson, I'm not leaving Detroit. What the fuck am I leaving Detroit for? What am I getting? If I go to Chicago, I got a quarterback that I'm being forced to have to keep, even if I know I can't fix this fucking dude. This dude cannot be fixed because it's something that he's stuck in his ways. He thinks he can do more than what the fuck he really can do. And instead of you playing in the offense, you want to be Patrick Mahomes, you want to be Josh Allen, you want to be Lamar Jackson. You want to just run off the script and do what you want to do. And that's not what the fuck you're supposed to do. You're a fucking rookie. Learn the game first and then do that. They didn't just do it because they were great at it. No, they understood the game. They had to slow the game down, and then they became that. Now today, Keller Williams had an amazing final drive, but that's one game, my nigga. Like that's one fucking game. I'm not about to forget all the games you played where you just shit the fucking bed, man. Like no, Keller Williams, Chicago, cool, great. Let's see what happens. Cool, great. Let's see what happens. But that job is hard to master. And if I was Chicago, I would go get a older, more established head coach, somebody that won't come in and just let him run all over us. That's what I would do. I would probably, if Mike Vrabel is not available, then I would probably go get um. I mean, Pete Carmichael's not a bad decision. I really would probably go get Pete Carmichael. I'm not gonna sit there and lie. I probably would go get Pete Carmichael. Why not? You know, USC ties. Him and Keller Williams got the USC ties. Why not? I mean, Cliff Kingsbury, but Cliff is still too young and maybe he needs a little bit more seasoning as an offensive-minded coach before. Because you got to realize this man jumped to the NFL and became the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. His job right now in Washington is perfect for him. He may fit that better right now than being the leader of men again. Like that is a fucking vastly different situation from going from just holding down one side of the ball to running everything. That's a different conversation. The Bear situation is just about trying to find the right person that can get Caleb Williams where he needs to be. The Jet situation is a complete and utter rehaul. It's a literally you have to now go from having Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams to now having to make up a decision. Now you're going to have a new decision where it's like, okay, now we have to have a whole new head coach. Plus on top of that, we gotta get the defense right. We fired Robert Saleh, who was actually a good fucking defensive coordinator. He kept the defense upright. Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are both probably going to be gone. So if that's the case, who are you getting to bring in? You can continuously put the band-aid and you can continuously do what Pittsburgh has been doing the last couple of years, which is put the band-aid on and keep trying to move on forward with this. But the difference between Pittsburgh and the Jets is Pittsburgh actually has an established head coach and a culture. The Jets have no culture and no established head coach. So now you're going to hire a head coach for the Jets. The best job out of everyone is the Patriots. That is the best job. And I know people think I'm fucking delusional when I say that. But you actually have a future. You have Drake May. Drake May is the best quarterback out of all those teams. Drake May is the best quarterback. You have a future. You actually have a defense. Now, firing Gerard Mayo is a little fucking weird and crazy to me personally. But do your thing. I still think the person you was gonna draft at one, you could draft at four. I don't think that any team takes this fucking person, and that's the kid from Arizona, the receiver from Arizona. I think you take him at four, and you still are good. Or you go off as a good offensive lineman, which is Will Clapp, which I think by the time you get to offensive lineman, the, I can see the Giants taking a quarterback at three. The Titans have the number one pick. I don't think the Titans should take a quarterback at one. I just don't. I don't think it's a good idea. Um, I think you continuously build on the offensive line of your Tennessee, which is you look into Will Campbell, Will Campbell of the LSU Tigers. You look into uh, Kevin Kevin Banks of the Texas Longhorns, their offensive lineman. You start looking into the offensive lineman for like you start looking into the offensive lineman because I don't think a quarterback, like I said, after Cam Ward, which you have a chance to draft Cam Ward, but do you think that team is going to stay up there? And like I said, two is Cleveland. Cleveland goes offensive line. Cleveland goes either offensive line or defense. I don't see the point of you drafting the. Oh, you can go weapon. You go offensive. You go wide receiver. I don't see you taking Travis Hunter at two. That's pretty fucking stupid. I don't see the point of that. I can see the Giants taking Cam Ward at three, and I can even see them taking Shador Sanders at three, only because Deion Sanders might be part of the deal. So, like, I can see that, but the same situation is not great. We're over the cap. We got a bunch of players we do not need to pay that we're paying. And there's going to come a conversation of, okay, this is a rebuild. This isn't no more patchwork. This is a fucking rebuild. So if that is the case, go to Alvin Kamara and say, listen, we know we signed you to this deal, but this is going to take 3 to 4 years, especially with Mickey Loomis being as stupid as he can be and being possibly going to shit this situation, fuck this whole situation up by signing a head coach that he only wants to control, Jerry Jones. You cannot do that, and that's the thing. So if I am the Saints, this is my thing. This is what I would do. And I wrote down yesterday because I knew I was gonna get on here and I was gonna do this. So these are my five coaches that I would sign. This is my five coaches. I was the Saints. These are my five coaches. The first person at the top, like I said, I don't think he should leave Detroit. Excuse me. But if he did leave Detroit, I would not mind having him. And that is Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Why is he number one? Because the offense of the Saints has needed a fucking man at the job for years, and he have not had one. And when we had for 2 games, when we saw actually what we can be for 2 games offensively, it fucking looked great. Now imagine if we actually had an offensive mind like a Sean Payton. Now Sean Payton was like 34, 35 years old, I think, when he was uh, signed as a head coach. I think yeah, like I think he was like 34, 35 years old when we brought him in as a head coach for the Saints. Then back in the day, Ben Johnson's like in his 30s too, early 30s too. So if we bring him in to New Orleans, again, completely different situations. I mean, in 2005, 6, 2006, we had the number 2 overall pick. We had no quarterback. We were moving back to New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. We had the worst season we ever had. And that's saying a lot. To say that was the worst season we ever had, that's saying a fucking lot. But I think Ben Johnson, offensive mind wise, now we just got to get the defense right. But after that, I think Ben Johnson would be a great head coach for us, and that's my number one. I think Ben Johnson. I've been saying Ben Johnson since last year should be the Saints' next head coach. I think Ben Johnson will be a great head coach for the Saints, and I would love to see him. Number two, Brian Flores, defensive coordinator of the Vikings, who coached tonight against Ben Johnson's offense, which is going to be a great matchup to watch and see. Brian Flores, defensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings, um, and former head coach of the Miami Dolphins. I think Brian Flores is an incredible head coach. The man got blackballed out of the NFL because he pretty much sued the NFL because of how they were discriminating against his hiring process, doing the head coaching search of what 2021, I think 2022, no 2020, I think pandemic time. The man sued the NFL, got blackballed out of the NFL. Mike Tomlin brought him back to be a defensive coordinator, a defensive advisor, something like that. And he got the job at the Minnesota Vikings like a year later. And look at the defense of the Vikings. I mean, 2 years in, and that defense is one of the most prominent defenses in some time, man. Like they went from Mike Zimmer to Brian Flores. Like that shit is crazy. So, um, I think Brian Flores has built the Miami culture. I know a lot of people give it to Mike McDaniel for what the Miami Dolphins are, but when Tariq Hill got traded, he was traded when Brian Flores was there. Jalen Waddle got drafted when Brian Flores was there. Oh, he hurt Tua feelings. Fuck Tua. Fuck out of here. Tua? Fuck out of here. Brian Flores would Tua need to grow some balls. He a grown ass fucking man talking about something. He hurt my feelings. Fuck out of here, nigga. You a grown ass fucking man. Are you serious? You playing the fucking the most dangerous sport there is, and you talk about some fucking head coach hurt my feelings. Fuck out of here. Brian Flores, I hope he comes in New Orleans to hurt Derek Carr's feelings and hopefully cries so much he gets the fucking trade, gets fucking traded. But Brian Flores is my number two. He builds the culture. That defense of New Orleans isn't bad. Like I said, we got a lot of young players, and with his tutelage, with the youth that we have, man, what that defense will look like. Like I said, offensively, we're not gonna probably still be great because he didn't have a really great offense when he was there in Miami. But if he did, man, if that team, if the Saints get that type of defensive coordinator, defensive mind as the new head coach and build the culture in New Orleans, that team, he would be exactly what we thought Dennis Allen would be. If we thought Dennis Allen would be anything, he would do that for us. He would build a culture. He would have the people playing hard defensively. We would be one of the best defenses in a year and a half. Now, offensively, we probably still be struggling. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie, but at least we know defensively ain't the reason. Defense ain't the reason. Number three, Mike Vrabel. Like I said, I think Mike Vrabel is going to the Patriots. I think he's going to go to the Patriots, depending on what happens in the next couple hours. I can easily see the Jags firing Doug Peterson. I'm shocked they haven't done it yet. I can see the Giants firing Brian Dable. I'm shocked they haven't done it yet. So those two teams are definitely looking for new head coaches at some point. I don't know about the coach. The coach is a very shaky one. Because we hear about it, we don't know. I mean, Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland, I don't think they're gonna fire him, but I can easily see if they did. Um, Zach Taylor with Cincinnati, depending on what happens with the Denver Broncos game. Was up 24-0 going into halftime, so Kevin Stefanski. I can see Mike McDaniel, who a lot of people aren't talking about, Mike McDaniel of the Miami Dolphins. I can even see him get fired, which a lot of people aren't really talking about. You shit the bed for most of the season because you didn't have Tua, and that's the only saving grace you have is because you didn't have Tua. But you are this offensive minded person. You're supposed to be this offensive minded guru. It doesn't matter if you don't have your starting quarterback. Your offense is not supposed to fall off a fucking cliff when you have Tariq Hill and Jalen Waddle. Your offense is not supposed to fall off a fucking cliff because you don't have Tua. I can easily see him getting fired too. Because Miami will look at that and be like, what the fuck? Bro, seriously? And then on top of that, you're losing to the Jets right now. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, for a good portion of your season, you might not have Tua. And your offense has shit the bed the last 2 years when they did not have Tua. Dude, that's a you thing. You gotta fix that. Y'all can blame whatever you want to blame, but that's a you thing. You gotta fix that. But yeah, I can see Mike Vrabel as the next Saints head coach. Now, do I think it's more realistic? Fuck no. I do not think it's gonna be realistic. Now, would I love it? You're fucking right, I would. But I do believe Mike Vrabel uh needs to go to a team where he could build a culture. I don't like I like the Chicago Bears for him, but I love New England more. Drake May's already there. Like I said, defensively, they already got stuff defensively. They're good defensively. That's not the problem. They had to get an offensive line. They had to build an offensive line, and they had to get some weapons for him. And a lot of players do like playing for Mike Vrabel. So I would not be surprised if Mike Vrabel ends up getting the head coaching job in New England. But if he does end up in New Orleans, hey, let's do it. number four, number four, Robert Saleh, the head coach, the former head coach of the New York Jets. I love Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh defensively. Look at the Jets defense when he was the head coach, and look at the Jets defense since he's been fired. That defense is fucking horrible. Same thing with Brian Flores. If you put him with that defense that we have, that youth that we have on defense, what a Pete Warner, a Brian Brzee, Alante Taylor, Kool Aid McKinstry. We have the youth. We just gotta mold it. And with a Robert Saleh, who for most of his coaching time defensively or being a defensive coordinator or a head coach, has always had a top 10 defense. He's always had a top 10 defense. That shit's damn near impossible. When he was the defense coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers, or if he was the head coach of the New York Jets, he always had a top 10, top 15 defense. That shit's damn near impossible. So imagine if he comes to the Saints and he can also build a culture. Now, again, like I said, offensively, it might not be great. And I think that's the thing. If we can find the right offensive people to coach, then great. I think it'll be great. Do I think that he can work with Clint Kubiak? Maybe. But I've seen enough of Clint Kubiak to know, bro, you need a lot of shit to work for you. Now, the beauty of Clint Kubiak and Robert Saleh is that they also come from San Francisco together. So can they work together and maybe do something good together? Possibly. But again, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Clint Kubiak. If they did fire him today or tomorrow, I'd be like, man, that makes sense. That makes sense. But I would love to see Robert Saleh as the New Orleans Saints head coach. That's a person that nobody's talking about, but I would love to see him as New Orleans Saints head coach. And number 5 is Joe Brady. Joe Brady, offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills. Now, why Joe Brady is number 5 and not high on my list is because if he gets the job with the New Orleans Saints, he is literally getting a massive, a lot of hype. He is getting so much fucking hype that it would be just ridiculous. Why? Because of what he did for LSU. And no matter where he goes in New Orleans, that man will never have to pay for another motherfucking thing. As long as he lives in Louisiana. Because of what he did with the LSU Tigers. And look at the LSU Tigers since he's been gone. They cannot they can't do shit offensively. They are one motherfucking dimensional. They can't do shit. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, this man made Clyde Edwards-Helaire at least a first round running back. Second round running back. Over Jonathan Taylor, who literally broke rushing records in college. And he made Clyde Edwards-Helaire look like the second coming of Darryl Sproles. Like this shit, put shit into perspective. This man made Clyde Edwards-Helaire look like the second coming of Darren Sproles, bro. Like the shit is different. But if Joe Brady comes to the Saints, he will immediately get so much hype that I don't think he can live up to it. But that does not change me wanting to see Joe Brady in New Orleans because Joe Brady's offense is very predicated on running the football, believing in the offensive line, and not putting your quarterback in too many crazy ass situations. Now, don't get it twisted. Joe Burrow is different. Joe Burrow in that offense with Joe Brady was great. But you also had Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Let's be 100. And Theo Moss playing tight end. Let's keep it 100. And like I said, Clyde Edwards-Helaire as well as the running back. Let's be 100 with it. Not saying he can't do it here in New Orleans, but when you put into perspective Alvin Kamara and Kendrick Miller, and maybe you keep Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Who knows? I don't know what you do with Taysom Hill. I'm pretty sure you probably let him go. But in an offense where the tight ends and receivers were all playing off of each other, if Joe Brady was to end up in New Orleans with the Saints as their next head coach, I would not be mad about that. All in all, the Saints have a lot of problems going on with the Saints. It does not get fixed in one off season. This is a rebuild, ladies and gentlemen, and I need you to understand this. Physically understand this shit. Excuse me. We're done with the Sean Payton era. Now I get that. I get that. Now I get that. Mickey Loomis continuously trying to sign and bring in people from Sean Payton's past to try to fix this shit. You can't fix this shit. It's over. And you continuously trying to do patchwork to fix this shit instead of being like, you know what? It's over. That era of the Saints football is over. I wish that I could get that back, but it can't come back. I can't go get Drew Brees back. I can't make Drew Brees prime Drew Brees again. I can't go get Sean Payton. He's in Denver. I can't go get Marcus Colston. I can't get any of these guys. Now, here's the thing. I know a lot of people shit on his somewhat decision making in certain draft situations, and I do too. But at the same time, man, he got his Alontae Taylor. He got us Kool-Aid McKinstry, who pretty much shut down Mike Evans for most of the game today. Bro, he's a good GM. He may fuck up sometimes because he's a fucking GM. When you've been at the job for 15, 20 fucking years, not everybody is Ozzie Newsome. Like, everybody's not Ozzie Newsome, man. Nigga, not everybody can just find great fucking players every day. Shit happens. So at the end of the day, man, the Saints are in a situation where they're in because they kept trying to just put band-aids on shit instead of fixing the shit right then and there. You kept pushing a lot of shit backwards because you kept trying to make people turn into their prime instead of you realizing, like, listen, I should probably draft Lamar Jackson. You should probably draft Lamar Jackson. I should probably draft Jordan Love. I should probably draft Jordan Love and let them sit behind Drew Brees. When you hear Sean Payton say that we were going to draft Patrick Mahomes, and then Kansas City jumped us and got Patrick Mahomes, I get it. I totally understand it. But at the same time, we need to have conversations, man. And we need to have real in-depth conversations. New Orleans Saints fans, I need you to understand something. This shit about to be a minute. We are about to tear this they gotta tear this shit down. And it's gonna take a minute. And I know people nowadays think it's bubble gum and rainbows, and if you just land on a quarterback, you're gonna just figure it out. Like me and my brother Wine was talking about yesterday. The quarterbacks that have been landed on, CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels, people like that, they already had the fucking talent. If you look at Michael Penix today, that's a fucking superstar. But if you listen to me last motherfucking year, I was telling you, Michael fucking Penix is a fucking superstar. He's going to be one of the best quarterbacks took it in the fucking draft. I'm not surprised by this shit. I'm not surprised that Michael Penix played his ass off today when the season was on the line. That's his third start in his career. He had his best fucking game. Imagine what the fuck he will do next year when the entire offseason is his. This won't be a conversation next year. Atlanta's going to win the division. I'm going to tell you this shit now. You might as well go ahead and get ready for this shit. I'm telling y'all this right now. The Saints are going to be the 4th team in the NFC South for at least the next 5 years. Give it 3.5 to 5 years. We're going to be the last team in the NFC South. I'm telling you this shit now. I'm telling y'all this shit now. Get ready. Atlanta is going to be a division winner by next year. Carolina is going to be fighting for the division next year, about next year. Tampa's getting older, so eventually they're going to kind of recede backwards because it's only so long you can have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and all these guys play before you start to hit a fucking wall. You already got Chris Godwin missing years, seasons because of the injuries he's been taking. I like Bucky Irvin, but that offense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, here's the thing: Tampa Bay's defense might have to carry them in the next couple of years. But Tampa Bay's defense has never been fucking great. They never been. The secondary has always been kind of up and down. And like I've always told my brother Juan, outside of the front seven of Tampa Bay, they're not really good in the back end. And that's the thing about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And now you have a team that's getting older in the tooth in Tampa Bay. The next 3 to 5 years, the Saints are going to be the 4th best team in the NFC South. Go ahead and get ready. I'm telling y'all this shit now. I'm not one of these fanboys that's gonna lie to y'all because we have to. If it's not Spencer Rattler, it's gonna take us a minute. If it's not Spencer Rattler, it's gonna take us a minute to get a quarterback because either we're gonna suck next year to the point where we're in the top 3 or 4. But again, rent cap hell. We have to get out of that shit. Yes, have we figured out a way to restructure shit and do this and do that? But instead of us continuously, again, patchworking shit, we need to let these people go. We need to let we need to let the Honey Badger go. We need to let Cam Jordan go. We need to let Demario Davis go. We need to let Taysom Hill go. We need to let a lot of people go. We need to say, you know what? This was fun, but it's over. It's over. Now, we bring in a head coach that wants Taysom Hill to stay. Cool. That's up to y'all. But for me, personally, it's over. This era of Saints football is fucking done. Dead shot. It's over. Let it go. The more we continuously keep screaming, but we just go get this person. We go get the names that people are continuously saying that they're trying to bring in Matt Nagy, Aaron Glenn. You do realize that does not help the Saints at all. And matter of fact, we're gonna be looking for a new head coach in 2 years, and we're gonna have to do this process all over again. Instead of just being like, you know what, let's cut our losses, let's get rid of everybody we need to get rid of, and we just go young. We need to go young. The thing about the Saints the last couple of years is that we let a lot of young talent just walk out the door. Trey Henderson. We let Trey Henderson go for Marcus Davenport, who we drafted in the first fucking round for no reason. We let Trey Henderson go and kept Marcus Davenport when we actually saw Trey Henderson on the field do what the fuck he's been doing with Cincinnati. We saw that his last year in New Orleans. We saw that. And we was like, we gonna keep Marcus Davenport over that. Marcus Williams. Y'all remember him? We let him go and bought in a honey badger. No, we bought a Marcus May and dropped him in 2 years. We have to accept that this era of the Saints football is gone. Drew Brees, Sean Payton, Marcus Colston, Reggie Bush, Pierre Thomas, Jeremy Shockey, Jimmy Graham. We have Devery Henderson. All of the players that have played in the last 20 years of the New Orleans Saints franchise since 2005. It's been 20 fucking years. You realize that shit? 20 fucking years. It was what, 19 fucking years since the Saints went to the NFC Championship game in 2006. It would be 19 fucking years this year since we went to the NFC Championship game against the Chicago Bears and we lost. That's the first year Sean Payton and Drew Brees was together. 19 fucking years. It's fucking over. Let it go. It's over. Bro, 19 fucking years. 20, damn near 20 fucking years. 2 decades. It's over. Let it go. It's not the same. We're not the same Saints, and we're never gonna be that. If we do not stop patchworking this shit and just say, you know what? We gotta kill it. We gotta let it go. It's not getting fixed. We have to now rebuild. The reason why the Saints were so great in the last 15 fucking years, 16 years of Sean Payton and Drew Brees is because we drafted young and we believed in young. In the last couple of years, we went old and we got old fast. And instead of us realizing that old only works when you got youth, we got old and we got old fast. And instead of us now fixing that, going to get young, like head coach Ben Johnson, Joe Brady, instead of us going to get youth, we try and go get old and established and people that we kind of already have a relationship with, we got a rapport with. That's patchwork shit. Throw the money at the fucking people, see what happens. Me personally, Joe Brady and Ben Johnson are my first two guys. Offensive minded as fuck. If not, Brian Flores. He's still young enough where the team will respect him and understand him. But this shit that they doing, this patch work shit, this duct tape shit is officially done. You cannot continuously do this over and over again because eventually, like the Saints today, the dam will break. And once it floods, like 20 years ago in our city, once it floods, anything can fucking happen. Fix the shit. Stop trying to beat around the bush. Stop trying to patchwork the shit. Stop trying to do all that goofy shit and just fix it. Mickey Loomis may have to get the fuck out the way. And I am 100% with y'all. He may have to get the fuck out the way. Now, I'm not saying fire him completely. No. But bring in a young GM who's been under him that understands that we can't continuously patch this shit up. We have to fix this. We can't continuously go get duct tape and keep trying to just give us the Sean Payton, Drew Brees era again. Because that era is dead. It's gone. It's not been the same since 2020. It's over. Let it go. We need to now rebuild. And maybe the 3 and the 5 year stretch don't turn into 5, 10, 15 years. Maybe it really is. In 3.5 years, maybe 5, we will be back in a conversation for the NFC South. For the next 3 years, 5 years, depending on how the Saints move, it's Atlanta and Carolina's division for at least the next 3 to 5 years. And I need the Saints fans to understand this shit. We about to be in a real bad situation. Like for at least the next 3 to 5 years. We gotta drive a quarterback. We gotta get rid of all of the shit we have. We have to literally tear it from the inside and then rebuild it. And as long as we continuously sit there and try to patchwork this shit, we're never gonna be able to fix it. I'll be back next year for Bleed Black and Gold. I don't know why I'm going through this torture, but I will be back next year to do this all over again. My first episode will be. I might do a mock draft show. I don't fucking know, but I'll do something. Um, but yeah, once we get established of what this is, I'll probably do a mock draft show. But until then, man, I am Brandon Janeau. This has been Bleed Black and Gold. Yeah. See y'all next year. Peace.